Welcome to this explainer on the 10 levels of Catholic clergy. Ever wonder what it actually looks like to climb the ranks of the Vatican? Today, we're going to trace the fascinating, lifelong journey of ascending from the very bottom to the absolute top of this ancient institution.
I mean, think about it. What does it actually take to go from a 10-year-old kid holding a small brass bell in a cold basilica to becoming the supreme leader of 1.4 billion people? To truly grasp this rigid hierarchy, we aren't just going to look at some dry org chart today. Instead, we're going to follow the actual chronological life cycle of one single clergyman to see how ascending these 10 levels fundamentally changes a person.
So our journey kicks off in the foundational years. This is that crucial window from age 10 into the early 20s. It's right here that a young man soaks in the gravity, the deep theology, and, maybe most importantly, the unspoken rules of the Church.
Picture this, you're just 10 years old. You're an altar server in a freezing cold stone basilica, somewhere like Santa Croce in Jerusalem. The lessons start immediately. You learn that literally every single candle placement, every ring of that bell, has to be totally exact. Dropping a consecrated host, that's a massive failure of attention. As an older priest might whisper to you, precision is a form of prayer. It's this intense early lesson in surrendering to authority, grasping a weight that feels like a mix of strict obedience and total destiny.
Fast forward to age 18. You're now a seminarian. Imagine stepping into the Pontifical Gregorian University in Rome, literally the oldest Jesuit university on earth, founded way back in 1551. The formation here is, well, it's grueling. You're tackling 6 hours of theology a day, reading Augustine in Latin, and your body's physical rhythm is totally rewired by 5:45 a.m. morning prayers. But the real lesson? You watch peers who ask the wrong questions quietly disappear from the program. You realize seminary isn't just about shaping belief, it's about mastering institutional discretion, knowing exactly what to say and, crucially, what to leave unspoken.
Okay, at age 23, things get serious. You cross your first permanent sacramental threshold by entering the first of the 3 degrees of holy orders. The highest spiritual authority in the Catholic Church is broken down into these 3 specific ranks: deacon, priest, and bishop.
Right now, you are ordained as a transitional deacon. You literally lie face down on a cold stone floor and rise as someone fundamentally changed. You're no longer a layman, but you aren't quite a priest yet either. You can baptize, you can witness marriages and lead funerals, but those heavy-hitting core sacramental duties, like celebrating Mass, hearing confessions, and anointing the sick, those remain completely off-limits, strictly reserved for the priesthood you're working toward. As you move from your mid-20s into your 40s, your entire world shifts. We're transitioning now from the gritty, raw, pastoral reality of community ministry right into the highly structured political halls of Vatican bureaucracy.
Hitting the minimum canonical age of 25, you are finally ordained a parish priest. Boom! You are thrust into the overwhelming 24/7 reality of local ministry. Think of a parish in Naples with 1,400 families. You're fixing leaky roofs, taking frantic calls at 11 p.m. from folks who just can't sleep, and standing by dying parishioners. You also learn to navigate deeply human crises, like sitting with a young, pregnant, unmarried woman terrified of being disowned, and you find a way to honor her dignity through quiet acts of grace that canon law doesn't exactly spell out for you.
Now, if you're effective and people notice, you might get drafted to Rome around age 35 to become a Monsignor. Just to be clear, this isn't a new sacramental rank, it's an honorary title. It basically signals that someone high up thinks you have administrative chops. You could end up in the Secretariat of State, carefully crafting geopolitically neutral prose for the Pope on global issues. It's here you really discover the deeply human, highly administrative nature of church power. You watch men manage massive global influence, all while using the vocabulary of total humility.
But the emotional toll of that bureaucracy? It's incredibly heavy. You might see a colleague suddenly leave a highly prestigious Vatican post to go back to a quiet parish in Munich. And when you ask him why, his answer gives you chills. Because here, I stopped knowing who I was serving. It's a stark, scary reminder of just how easy it is to lose your pastoral calling inside the administrative machine. But your journey keeps moving up. At age 43, you receive the absolute fullness of holy orders. You are consecrated as a bishop. The level of responsibility you're handed is honestly staggering. Imagine being sent to Bergamo, Italy, and suddenly you are personally responsible for 300,000 Catholics, 180 parishes, and almost 200 priests.
As bishop, sure, you're the local boss, but you still answer directly to Rome. Let's say you uncover local corruption. Maybe a priest is misusing funds, and he happens to be tied to some powerful political families. If you remove him, Rome definitely notices. But they won't send you a medal. They'll send a very quiet question down the chain. Did you consider the sensitivity of the timing? You learn super fast that doing the right thing at this level means navigating a minefield of institutional sensitivities.
As we cross into the upper echelons of a clergyman's life, spanning from age 50 to 72, things change dramatically. Pastoral care fully transforms into global power brokering and worldwide leadership.
At 50, you're elevated to Archbishop of a massive diocese, let's say Milan. You're now overseeing a whopping 5 million Catholics. It hits you. You aren't just a pastor anymore. You are a walking political signal. If you speak out on economic inequality, government ministers call your office. If you skip a political breakfast, the press reads it as a targeted endorsement of the opposition. Every single syllable you utter is aggressively interpreted by the outside world.
And honestly, the external scrutiny is only half of it. Internally, a simple pastoral letter you write can trigger an investigation from Rome. The dicastery for the doctrine of the faith might demand clarifying addendums, literally forcing you to write an 18-page theological defense just to justify your pastoral approach. Your doctrinal purity is constantly, relentlessly monitored.
By age 58, you reach a level incredibly few will ever see. You get the red hat, the beretta. You become a cardinal. Now, the red traditionally symbolizes your willingness to shed blood for the faith, but the modern reality is a bit different. It's intense administrative power. You're joining an elite group of about 240 guys worldwide. And get this, only about 120 of them are under 80 and actually eligible to vote for the next pope. Your job is entirely shifted from day-to-day care to shaping the long-term character of the global church.
Say you hit 64 and get appointed prefect of the dicastery for bishops. This is the Vatican body that evaluates and recommends new bishops globally. Sitting in that chair, you realize the ultimate secret to the church's survival. It's simple. Whoever controls the appointment of bishops shapes the church's character for the next 30, 50, even 100 years.
But here's the crucial thing about how power actually operates at this tier. You might find a mysterious, unsigned note in a candidate's file, hinting at a political favor. You do your formal evaluation, you send it up the chain. Yet despite essentially running the global pipeline of candidates, your power is entirely advisory. You just make recommendations. The Pope alone makes the final call, and he doesn't owe anyone an explanation. You exercise your influence, and then you just sit back and wait to see how much of it actually landed.
Finally, let's say you're 72, the Pope passes away, and you enter the papal conclave. After 3 intense days of voting, driven by decades of quiet relationships and unspoken alignments, you hit that 2/3 supermajority. The Cardinal Dean asks you in Latin if you accept your canonical election. You say one word, accepto, and this monumental, world-shifting transition is marked by complete isolation. You were led into the room of tears to dress in your white papal vestments in total, absolute silence.
You walk out onto that iconic central balcony of St. Peter's Basilica. Looking out at the sea of people in the square, you give your first blessing. In that exact fraction of a second, you instantly become the most visible religious figure on the planet to 1.4 billion Catholics.
But here is the great paradox of reaching this ultimate level. Everyone tells you you're the most powerful religious figure on earth, but you realize very quickly that visibility and power are not the same thing. Yes, every word you say is drafted, scrutinized, and broadcast to the globe, but at 5:30 in the morning, you're completely alone in your private chapel, reciting the exact same Latin prayers you memorized as an 18-year-old kid in seminary.
Picture this, it's late one night, you're sitting alone in the Vatican library, and you open a letter from an exhausted, completely unknown priest in the Philippines. He writes to you, "I sometimes wonder if I have done enough. And then I remember I was never meant to be the measure. I was only ever meant to show up." In that single moment, all the bureaucratic walls, the fancy titles, the global politics, they just melt away.
You pick up your pen to write him back, telling him he is absolutely enough. And instead of signing it with your grand papal title, you drop all of it. You sign that letter with your baptismal name, the exact same name of that 10-year-old boy shivering, holding the brass bell in the cold basilica, the name you had before this insane 62-year journey even started. As this explainer wraps up, we're left to process this really singular, incredible life cycle. The Church doesn't promise its clergy comfort or clarity or even recognition. What it offers is the chance to give your entire life to something that started long before you were born and will keep going long after you're gone. So, after surrendering your whole identity to ascend these 10 levels of this ancient institution, is that sacrifice the ultimate burden or the greatest gift? You tell me?